Welcome to the Marley Bird YouTube channel, brought to you by Red Heart Yarns. In this video, I get to show you how to make these super adorable unisex sandals for baby. Aren't these cute? These sandals were designed by my friend Tamara Kelly of the Moogly blog. I'll be sure to put a link to her blog in the video description box below. You'll also be able to find the link to the free pattern, which is available at redheart.com, in the video description box below. While you're down there, please smash that like button, as my kids say. We will make these adorable sandals from start to finish, and you should be able to follow along with me. So let's click our heels and get started with these really cute sandals. The sandals are done in various parts, and we're going to begin with the sole of the foot to start off with. We will begin with a chain 12. Once you've done a chain 12, we will single crochet in the second chain from hook. Never count the loop on your hook. So we single crochet in the second chain from hook and in the next 9 chains. Once you've completed 9 single crochets, we then will place 3 single crochets in the next chain. Now, working along the back side of the chains, we are going to work single crochets along all of these open loops. Once you've completed the 9 single crochets along the back side of your chains, you finish off with 2 single crochets into the last stitch. This is the same stitch as the first single crochet we completed. We will join with a slip stitch. So right here, that's the top of the first single crochet we worked with. So we're going to join with a slip stitch. We have a total of 24 single crochets on round 1. The sole of this sandal is made with the right side facing throughout, so we will not be turning our work. We're simply going to work in joined rounds. We start off round 2 with a chain 1, and then we work 2 single crochets in the same stitch as we did our join. Now we single crochet in the next 9 stitches. We will do 2 single crochets into the next stitch. And then we will do 2 single crochets into the next stitch. And then 2 more into the next stitch. You will single crochet in the next 9 stitches. And now we will do 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and then 2 single crochets in the next stitch. We will join with a slip stitch into the top of the first single crochet we completed. We now have 30 single crochets total for round 2. Round 3 has us begin with a chain 1. We will single crochet in the same stitch as the joining stitch, 2 single crochets in the next stitch, single crochet in the next 9, and then we'll single crochet in the next stitch, 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and we will do that a total of 3 times. So that was once, so this is 2, so we'll do 1 single crochet in the next, 2 single crochets in the next one. I have to do that one more time, so I'll do 1 single crochet in the next and 2 single crochets in the following. Now I'll do 9 single crochets along this edge. A single crochet in the next stitch, 2 single crochets in the next stitch, a single crochet in the next stitch, 2 single crochets in the next stitch. Now we've reached the end of round 3, let's begin round 4. Row 4 has us begin with the chain 1 and 2 single crochets into the same stitch as we did our join. Now we single crochet in the next 11 single crochets. Do 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and then single crochet in the next 2 stitches. We want to repeat that a total of 3 times. Single crochet twice in the next stitch, and then single crochet in the next 2 stitches. One more time, single crochet in the next stitch 2 times, and then single crochet once in the next 2 stitches. So we did all of that a total of 3 times. We single crochet in the next 9 single crochet, we're back to where we want to work our increase. We will do 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and then 1, and then another single crochet in the next 2 stitches. We will repeat that again. So 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and then a single crochet in the next, and a single crochet in the next. That brings us to the end of our round, so we join with the slip stitch, and we have reached the end of round 4. Round 5 is more of the same. Let's go ahead and get started. We begin round 5 with the chain 1, single crochet in the same stitch as the joining slip stitch, single crochet in the next 2 stitches, 2 single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the next 12 single crochet, two single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the next 3 stitches, 2 single crochet in the next stitch. We will do that one more time. Single crochet in the next 3 stitches, 2 single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the next 12 single crochet, two single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the next 3, two single crochet in the last stitch. That brings us to the end of our round, so we join with a slip stitch. We will fasten off our work, so I'm going to yarn over and pull through once, so it's like making a chain. And I will cut my yarn, leaving a nice tail, so that way I can weave it in without any hesitation of it possibly coming out. But this is what we have so far. Looks really good. I can pull that through now. And we have a nice base for our foot. So this is the sole of our sandal. It's at this point that Tamara has us place stitch markers on the sole. With the sole facing you and counting from the first stitch that we created on round 5, we're going to place a marker in the second stitch, so 1, 2. We will place a marker in the 6th stitch, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In the 16th, 1, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. In the 30th, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. In the 40th, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. And the 44th, 41, 42, 43, 44. All right, so we have all of these markers in place. This looks just like the picture that Tamara included in the pattern, so we are doing good so far. I don't need that marker. Now that we have finished the sole and marked the stitches, we're ready for the back of the sandal. I am going to change up a little thing right here, so make sure you pay attention. In the instructions, we are told to look at the wrong side of the sole and find the second marked stitch. Mine is right here with this pink marker. It then says to go ahead and insert your hook and draw up a loop. Well, if I do that, if I insert my hook, and I'm using a different color here so you can better see the stitches, yarn over and draw up a loop. Can you see how this loop now overlaps the top of that green stitch? Can you see how that happens? I don't want that to happen because the tops of these green stitches is actually going to be a design feature of the sandal. So I'm going to change up the pattern ever so slightly by doing this. Instead of drawing up a loop and then jumping into the back post single crochet, we will begin with a slip knot directly onto our hook. By having that slip knot on our hook and then jumping right into the back post single crochet, we will be able to leave the top of these green stitches exposed. So I have the slip knot on my hook. I'm going to go into this marked stitch from behind and then work around the post here, go out the opposite side, yarn over, bring the hook back that same path. So I have 2 loops on my hook, yarn over, draw through 2. See how I have now completed 1 full single crochet, back post single crochet, and I can carry on with the pattern by working a back post single crochet around each of the next 6 single crochets. This will make it so that way I have 7 back post single crochets completed for the back heel of the sandal. And the last back post single crochet I complete will be in that marked stitch. When I get down there, I will pause and count just to make sure I have the right number of stitches. I can count the tops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I then can carry on with the pattern. Rows 2 through 4 are all the same, so let's learn how to do them now. We begin with a chain 1 and turn, and we're going to work into the front loop only down this row. And when I work through front loops only, I like to go from underneath and come up the front loop only, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2. I have friends who like to go this direction, and you can do that if you want. It changes the look of the stitch ever so slightly, and if you do that, please do it consistently throughout the pattern. For me, I like to go from the bottom up and make it just like so. So you'll have 7 front loop only single crochets. That was row 2. You carry on, chain 1, turn your work, and you move on to row 3. The end of row 3, chain 1, turn. This is row 4. We're still in the front loop only, working these single crochets. When you get to the end of row 4, you will fasten off your work, leaving a tail that is long enough for you to weave in later on. So I'm down to the front loop only, the last stitch of the row. I can chain 1, cut my yarn, I've already cut it, with leaving a nice long tail, give it a pull, and there is the back of your sandal. And if I turn this around, you can see how the top part of that green edge is a nice decorative section. Now, my join here, when I tucked in my end, I didn't do a very good job, so I have a little knot there, but it's okay. I can fix that later on. But can you see how the join, by doing it the way I suggested, we don't have any sort of overlap over that green? The whole reason I point this out is because this is actually the second time I filmed this part of the video. I completed this entire sandal following the instructions to a T, and at the very end I noticed that overlap and I was like, what did I do wrong? So when I went back and did it again, I realized that if I started with the back post single crochet to begin with, that I got a much more clean line at the bottom of my sandal. Maybe if I was using one color, it wouldn't have been as noticeable, but because I used 2 colors, it was very noticeable. The reason I'm telling you is because in the rest of the video, you might notice that overlap that I mentioned, because I filmed the whole video with the overlap. But now you know how to do it correctly and you won't have any problem. All right, so the back of the sandal, the heel of the sandal is complete. It's time to move on to the next 2 sides. Please remember that at the end of side 2, you will not fasten off, all right? Let's go ahead and jump in. In the same method, we pulled up a loop and worked back post single crochets to join our heel flap to our sole. We will do the same for the sides of our foot. The first side, you begin at stitch 44 and you will back post single crochet along these 10 stitches, which will end right here at stitch 30, which we have marked. For side 2, we would then come over here, start right here in the stitch that we have marked there, work along the row and end with that stitch right there. Then we carry on working single crochets in the front loop only for rows 2, 3, and 4. Let's go ahead and finish that. When you get to the end of side 2, do not fasten off your work. We are now going to work an ankle strap joining all of these stitches. Go ahead and turn your work, chain 1, we will single crochet across side 2. So we're on side 2, we're going to single crochet across. And I'm working through both loops this time. Once you get to the end of side 2, you will chain 2, and then working into the heel stitches, we will single crochet in each stitch across the back of the heel. So I'm going to start right here at the edge, and I will single crochet across each one of the heel stitches. Once you've done the heel stitches, you will chain 2, and then working over here to the stitches that you did on side 1, you will single crochet along those stitches. Again, through both loops. Once you have reached the end of side 1, you chain 1 and single crochet in the end of each of these 4 rows along the edge of side 1. So we want to make sure we single crochet along the edge of those 4 rows as evenly as possible, as nice and neat as possible. I'm going to remove the marker because it's kind of in my way right now. All right, once you've worked along the edge of side 1, you're going to back post single crochet around each of the next 13 unworked stitches on the sole of the foot. So here we are, we're down here. So this was the last stitch I did a back post single crochet in, so I'm going to go to the next one and work a back post single crochet into that one and into the next several of them. Once you've reached the point where you're back at side 2, make sure you do all of them. Okay, so we're back over here at side 2. We will single crochet along the end of the 4 rows along the edge of side 2. So let's get our 4 single crochets there as well. All right, so I did that, then I chain 1, and I'm going to join with a slip stitch into the very first single crochet I did for this round. All right, so what I have here is I have a total of 42 single crochets. There's a lot of string going on here. Sorry, I should weave in my ends so that way you can see. I have chain 2 here and a chain 2 here, but then we have single crochets along the edge, along the top, and then we did our back post single crochets along the edge right here. We only have one more round of this sandal, so let's go ahead and jump in with that one. Okay, now that all my ends are woven in, I feel much better. And I've also decided that I'm going to go back to my original color that I did on the sole for this final round, just to kind of tie it all together. The final round, all you would do here is you are going to slip stitch along all of these stitches, and when you get to the chain twos, we will single crochet into the chain two space. So to slip stitch, all you're going to do is go into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then pull that loop through. It's really just that simple. So go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, and pull that loop through. These slip stitches are decorative and they stabilize the sandal, so make sure you don't skip this step. Once you've done all the slip stitches, go ahead and fasten off your work. And you can see here, we have a nice little sandal all put together here. The slip stitches on mine, because they're a different color, they add a really cool decorative look, and they really mimic what's going on down here along the sole. So all I can do now is I could weave in these ends, and the final touch here is to add a button and a button loop. Once you've buried all of your ends on the sandal, you're ready to move on with adding a button and a strap. Now you are going to make both sandals identical for the right and the left foot. And when it's time to add the buttons, that's when it's going to change it up for right or left. You will add a button either on side 1 or side 2, and by placing the button on one side or the other, that's how you know one is the right foot or the left foot. Once you have selected the button, and this is my safety warning, make sure you're following along with any of the safety warnings on the buttons themselves because they are choking hazards, so be aware of that. Once you've selected the button, go ahead and sew it on to the front corner of whichever side of the sandal you're going to be making. Once the button is in place, you then will go ahead and chain a length of yarn that is long enough that when it's folded over just like so and attached to the opposite side of where you added the button. So let's pretend our button is on this side and we have our length of yarn on the opposite side. Let's go ahead and finish this off. I'm going to leave a nice long tail so I can sew it in place. I can take my chains here, I can fold them in half. See how it's in half? And then with these two tails that I left nice and long, I can sew them in place to this side of my sandal. Once it's in place and my button is in place, I can just wrap that cord, the chain, around my button, and I have a nice closure here. Rather than me spending time showing you how to sew on a button, let's go ahead and take a look at the sample. Here are the sandals that Tamara Kelly made. You can see they were done all in one color and they are simply adorable. The chain, like I was mentioning before, it is just a very simple chain and it is long enough to wrap around the button that she chose. You can see there's the chain right there, and it really is that easy as far as the closure of the sandals themselves. You can make your sandals all in one color like Tamara or multiple colors like mine. Whatever you decide to do, just have fun. I crocheted these sandals in a little less than 2 hours, so they're a great choice for a last-minute baby shower gift. I hope you enjoyed this video and you like this wonderful pattern by Tamara Kelly. She has lots of wonderful free patterns over at mooglyblog.com, so make sure you check them out. And then right here on the Marley Bird YouTube channel, I have lots of videos teaching you how to become a better knitter and crocheter. I will talk to you again soon. My name is Marley Bird and I'm the proud national spokesperson for Red Heart Yarns. Bye everybody. Hey, thanks for joining me today on the channel. If you want more videos just like that one, check out some of these other videos that I've already handpicked for you. And don't forget to hit subscribe so that way you're up to date whenever I release a new video. And don't forget, smash that like button as my kids say. Bye guys.